Welcome back to Game Talk 24/7. I'm your host, Josh Cunningham. Before we get to the video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and like the video. It really means a lot. It really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it more than you know. Also, don't be afraid to comment down below. Without further ado, let's talk sports. Hey guys, welcome back to Game Talk 24/7. Today is Tuesday, December 30th. We are 1 day away from New Year's Eve, 2 days away from New Year's. It's a little late when I'm recording this, a little later than I planned, but you know what? We're going to do it anyways. It's the holidays. I hope you guys are having a great time spending with your friends and family. I hope you guys have a great New Year's Eve and great New Year's Day, and I hope you guys enjoy the end and start to your end of your 2025 and start to your 2026. Right now, currently you have Tennessee playing Illinois, and the score is 7-7. So I'm not going to make a pick in that game because obviously the game is going on right now. I mean, if I would make a pick in that game, it's 7-7. There is, let's see, 30 seconds before halftime. Illinois has the ball. I'm going to guess Tennessee's going to find a way to win. They have a really good offense. Josh Heupel's a really good coach. But also, I don't know who else is sitting out in that game player-wise and who else is playing in that game for both teams. And then later on, you have USC playing TCU at 9. So you got some really good bowl games. I think USC is going to win that game. They're the better team. TCU's quarterback already entered the transfer portal, and Josh Hoover. So he might be going to Tennessee too. He might be. He's a good quarterback. There's been some rumblings and grumblings about him going to Tennessee. We'll find out where he decides to go. But So we're not gonna make a pick in that Tennessee-Illinois game just because of when I decided to start recording this with the time and the schedule I had today. Also, before we get to talking our college football playoff picks for the Ohio State-Miami game tomorrow and the other 3 quarterfinal games on Thursday, we are not gonna have another video till Friday. We'd post a video on Thursday, but because the CFP games are happening on Thursday, we are going to do our next video on Friday where we can discuss those games and the outcomes of the games tomorrow and the games Thursday. So without further ado, let's start talking some sports. Before we even get to the college football playoffs, Ohio State just got a new commitment in football. Edge DJ Jacobs, he's a 5-star. He's the number 1 player in the class of 2027, according to 24/7 Sports, or he's number 11 on ESPN. He's an edge rusher. He just committed to Ohio State over Miami and Georgia or Texas A&M. So I mean, he committed to Ohio State, and so he's a good edge rusher. He's got good size. He's a 5-star, so he's got a lot of talent. The question is, will he stay there? So it was between, I think, Georgia, Ohio State, Miami. You could maybe have thrown Texas A&M in that hat, but again, I think it was Georgia, Ohio State, and Miami. The guy's from Georgia, and he committed to Ohio State. He joins a long list of really good edge rushers in the history of Ohio State. We got the Bosa brothers. You got Chase Young. So many. And so, again, he's a really good edge rusher in the class of 2027. He's 6'5", 225. So he's going to have to gain some weight. He's going to have to put on some muscle. He can do that. It's all just about getting. It's a class of 2027, so he has more time in high school to do that and gain muscle and gain more weight. But he's also, once he gets on college campus, he's going to get a college strength coach and conditioning coach. That's going to help him get in even better shape and just bigger and stronger. But he's got the height at 6'5". Now he's just got more muscle to it, and then also continue to work on moves. Duke basketball just got Darren Rippey Jr., who is a point guard out of the class of 2026. That gives Duke now 3 5-stars for the class of 2026. He's a really good point guard. He's a top 20 player. He's a little undersized at 6'2" compared to what Duke has been going after recently. But you know what? I mean, compared to what Duke's played recently, he's a little undersized. They've been bigger this year and last year. But that might not be the move every single year they're going to go. But no, now let's get into some college football. Because you guys, that's what you guys came here to hear me talk about. You didn't come here to talk about, these players are going where, these players are going where. Also, Phillip Rivers probably plays his last NFL game. Riley Leonard's going to get the start for the Colts in the next game. We love Phillip Rivers. I hope he has a great retirement now that he's going to be officially retired again. Who knows if it's going to stay that way? It probably will. He said he's going back to the sidelines coaching. I hope he does great coaching. And it was awesome to see Phillip Rivers come back at 44 and still throw the pigskin around the football field for the Colts. Now let's get into Miami, Ohio State. That's the game up. That's tomorrow. That is at 7:30. It is currently 6:52 while I'm recording. And so With that being said, that game is at 7:30 tomorrow. It's almost 24 hours away. Is the Cotton Bowl. Ohio State's third trip to the Cotton Bowl in the last 3 years. We've been there 3 years in a row. You could maybe say it's our home away from home. You can say we got a little bed up in there. We got a little fridge with our name on it up there. So like I said, it's our home away from home. According to ESPN's matchup predictor, Ohio State has a 70.5% chance of winning. Miami has a 29.5% chance of winning. Ohio State is currently favored by 9.5 points. And I'm picking the Buckeyes to win. They're my national championship pick. I am picking them to win this game. Am I going to pick them to cover the 9.5? 9.5 is a lot of points in a playoff game. Miami has a really good defensive and offensive line. Offensive line, specifically Francis Maui-Noah. Defensive line, Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor. Two phenomenal edge rushers. Two phenomenal edge rushers. So the question is, Ohio State's offensive line was not great against Indiana. So the question is, in this month kind of break that Ohio State has, how did they fix that offensive line? How did they work with that offensive line and make it better? Tegra Shabola, the biggest problem on that right side, that was the right guard, Tegra Shabola, he won't be playing. He's out with injury. So you're going to see other people step up who Ohio State fans were wishing got a shot. Ohio State fans are wishing Tegra Shabola would have gotten pulled back off the starting lineup, even though he was a starter in the playoffs for them last year, and they would have put in someone like Gabe Van Sickle. Well, now they're going to get that moment. So the question is, will it be better on that right side, the weakest side? The question is, can they do what they did last year and form this momentum and anger going into the playoffs? We'll talk about that in a second. And the question for Miami is, can they keep the momentum coming off of this Texas A&M win? So both fan bases talk trash. Both fan bases are talking a lot of trash to each other. And so that's normal. I expect Ohio State to have more fans there because they have a bigger fan base and they travel a little bit better than Miami. Miami's got a lot of fans, but Ohio State's probably the biggest fan base in the country. They travel really well. They go wherever they want. And Ohio State's been in the Cotton Bowl the last 3 years. I would be surprised if they didn't have a decent amount of fans show up. More fans than Miami. Does that matter though? No, it's a neutral site, especially with it being in Texas at AT&T Stadium, aka Jerry's World. I think Ohio State's going to fix their offensive line issues. You give them a month. Let's see, look in the past. Let's look back to last year. Ohio State, after losing to Oregon, their defense was an issue. They fixed it. Their defense is the best in college football the rest of the year. After Michigan, play calling and offensive line play was an issue. They fixed that in the playoffs. I think you're going to see a similar thing. Offensive line play against Indiana, an issue. I think they're going to fix it going into they fixed in this month-long break that they got, and they're going to go into the playoffs. And play calling was also an issue against Indiana. They're going to fix that again going into the playoffs. Brian Hartline's not calling plays. He is strictly working with the wide receiver coaches. Now that he's the head coach at USF, he's having to split time between both. He's strictly working with the wide receivers. Now he's strictly the wide receiver coach right now, working with the wide receivers. Sorry if I said wide receiver coaches. I mean, he's strictly working with the wide receivers. He was the wide receiver coach and offensive coordinator. Ryan Day will be calling plays. What is Ryan Day really good at? Calling plays offensively. Some of you say, no, he's not. Look back at history. What was it, the 2022 or 2021 Peach Bowl? 2022 Peach Bowl. Sorry, not 2021. 2022 Peach Bowl against Georgia. One of the best defense in all of college football that year. He scored 41 points. That's a lot of points on a really good defense. They only gave up 12 or something per game all season long. That's a really good defense. That's really good offense that he put up out against them. 41 points. He's one of the best play callers in college football if he's choosing to call the plays. Now he hasn't done it all season long, yes. But he's been heavily involved with Brian Hartline since it was Brian Hartline's first year calling plays. So I expect Ryan Day to do a very good job and to kind of, go out there with the wagon and get it rolling downhill, per se. He's gonna get the truck with a lot of gas in it, and it's just gonna go vroom and it's gonna go gone. Or sorry, let's go a Lamborghini, because that's the offense that they have. They have a Bugatti on offense. All he's got to do is he's going to get with a full tank of gas, and he's just going to slam on that gas pedal, going steamroll ahead. He's going to get in there like the bullet train conductor. Oh, we're at half speed. Turn up all the way to full speed. They're going to be, gone. That's what I think is going to happen here. I think they're going to stop playing conservative because it's the playoffs. It's one and done. You go home. They've known all season long They just need to control the game and win those games. Doesn't matter what the score is, and they'll be good. Now they know it's one and done. You go home. Last time Ryan Day was in the playoffs, what are we going to be? Aggressive. 2022 Peach Bowl against Georgia, what are we going to be? Aggressive. He likes to be aggressive because that's how you win big games at this time. Ryan Day is the only coach that knows how to win a national championship in the 12-team playoff because he's the only one that's done it. So he knows how to monitor and manage his team throughout the season to where they're playing their best at the right time, and to also where he's managing plays and health. I mean, they've played almost one game's worth of football less snaps than everybody else on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I think more particularly on the defensive side of the ball, where that's going to help because they're going to be healthy. They're going to be fully rested. They're going to be good to go. Offense, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate both said they're fully healthy. They're ready to go. They're going to be good. I think Ohio State's going to win this game. Again, I don't... Okay, let's do Miami's offensive line versus Ohio State's defensive line. Besides Francis Maui-Noah, Ohio State's got studs up front on defense. People don't talk about Kenyatta Jackson as much as they should. They don't talk about Caden Curry as much as they could. They don't talk about Edric Houston, Tyrone Malone. They talk a lot about Kay McDonald, who is phenomenal. But they've got a really good front seven, especially when you add Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles in there. And it's like, Mark Fletcher's good, but will he be able to run the ball against Ohio State? I mean, let's be real. No team's really just been able to dominate the game on both sides of the ball against Ohio State, running and passing. And no one's been able to run to win the game against Ohio State. They've been able to run maybe a little bit, but not run to win the game. And then you go, let's look at the receivers. Malachi Toney, phenomenal. Ohio State secondary, Davis Igbinosun, Jermaine Matthews, Lorenzo Styles, Aaron Scott, Devin Sanchez, Caleb Downs, Jalen McClain, all really good. Besides, really, Malachi Toney, Miami's going to need tight ends and other receivers to step up and the running backs to step up if they want a chance to win. Let's say you put the game on the quarterback shoulders. Who do you trust more in this game? Julian Sayin or Carson Beck? Carson Beck's got more experience, but he also throws more interceptions than Julian Sayin. He also doesn't make as good of reads as Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin, yes, he's thrown an interception in each of the last two games, but he doesn't usually put the ball in harm's way. He's good at reading defenses. He's good at being accurate, making accurate throws. He also has better receivers to throw to in Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Mylan Graham, Quincy Porter, then Max Clare at the tight end position, Will Kessler at the tight end position. So it's just going to be a battle between the trenches, a lot of people will say. And if you want to say so, okay, Miami's D-line could dominate Ohio State's offensive line if Ohio State doesn't fix their problems. And Miami's offensive line could dominate Ohio State's defensive line not dominate, I would say. Miami's offensive line could wash out Ohio State's defensive line, meaning they're neutral. One's not going to dominate the other. I see it more so being, though, that Ohio State's defensive line is going to dominate Miami's offensive line because that's just what Ohio State's defensive line has done all season long to anybody. It doesn't matter who they're going against. Their defensive line is dominated no matter what. And it's not just in the sack column or the sack margin. They might not have dominated in that area, but they've dominated in tackles for loss on run plays, tackling run plays, not letting you get explosive runs. They're good at doing that. This defense is phenomenal. It's the best in college football. I mean, Ohio State's defense only gives up 8.2 points a game. Miami's gives up 13. Okay, who played in the hard conference? Ohio State. The Big Ten's harder than the ACC. Who played the better teams? Well, Miami's best team they played was who? Notre Dame. Then Texas A&M. Texas A&M was the best team Miami's played. Ohio State's best team they've played is Indiana, the number one team in the country. So you can say one conference is harder than the other. Yes, good, fine. You can say one team. You can say that. But when you actually watch the two teams play, who has the better defense? Ohio State. Who has the better offense? Ohio State. Usually a team with the two better defense and offense wins the game. Miami took advantage of a Texas A&M team that was, while not bad, probably wasn't as good as people made them out to be on certain ends because they had a weaker SEC schedule. They didn't have the strongest SEC schedule. So when you look at it, you look and you see, okay, then is Miami going to be able to beat the second best, or in my opinion, probably still the best team in the country when they lost to Indiana and Ohio State? I think Ohio State's going to win. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to pick Ohio State to cover the 9.5. I think it's going to be a 28-14 or a 24-14 type game. I think Ohio State's going to win. I think they're going to cover the 9.5. I just don't see Miami putting up points on Ohio State's defense. Again, Ohio State's defense is only giving up 8.2 points a game. And I'm already giving them 14 either way. And I can't trust Carson Beck to go win them a football game compared to Julian Sam. And then 2, I don't see their defense stopping all the weapons Ohio State has on offense, like Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate, Brandon, Smiley Graham, Quincy Porter, Max Clare, Will Kessler, Bo Jackson, and just the list goes on. I don't see them, even if they get to the quarterback, they get some sacks every now and then. Ohio State moved the ball against Indiana. They just struggle in the red zone to put the ball either through the uprights or into the end zone. So that's the thing. Ohio also, let's be real. Miami's got a really good defensive line. But the biggest key points to their defensive line is their 2 edge rushers, and Akeem Messidor and Ruben. Now you can line Akeem Messidor up anywhere. But let's be real. If Ohio State chooses to run in between the tackles, it's not going to be as hard as running outside the tackles towards those 2 edges. You run those 2 edges, it's going to be a little bit harder. But you run in between those 2 tackles, guess what? It's going to be a little bit easier. You can get some more run play, get some more run game going. Also, no offense to Miami and Texas A&M, but Ohio State's wide receiver room is way better than Texas A&M's receiver room. So Ohio State's going to be able to get more through the air than Texas A&M was. And it's not going to mean 30-mile-per-hour winds. So Ohio State's going to be able to air the ball out like crazy. It's going to be indoors. Give me the Buckeyes to feast on Miami on New Year's Eve. Right when that clock strikes midnight and then we're hitting New Year's Day, Buckeye fans are going to have a smile on their face. And they're going to be singing their fight song either all the way home after their New Year's Eve party or in their living room. They're going to be yelling, O-H-I-O, O-H-I-O, all night long for everybody here because they're going to be going to sleep on New Year's Day with a smile on their face after beating the Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes want revenge from, 2002 or 2003? I think it was 2002. They want revenge from 2002. And so, guess what? Your 2002 team is not walking out on the field. Ohio State's 2002 team is not walking out on the field. So when you want to say, we want revenge for 2002 and that 2002 national championship, guess what? That was 23 years ago. Ohio State, guess what? They don't care about 23 years ago. Your fans, your current Miami players might not have been, some of them weren't even alive when this game happened. I wasn't even alive when this game happened. That was 23 years ago. The fans can be still mad all they want. Guess what? Ohio State has won 2 other national championships at least since then. Yeah, sorry, 2 other national championships since then because we got that one. Then we got the first ever college football playoff, and then we got last year. And so, again, you want revenge for 2002. Guess what? Your 2002 team is not coming out on the field. Neither is Ohio State's 2002 team. This year, it's Miami of 2025 and Ohio State of 2025. Who has the better team? Ohio State. Sorry. Not sorry. But, again, I just find it quite annoying to that extent. And so, to that extent, that they want to keep talking about it. You're not getting revenge for 2002. Because guess what? That was 23 years ago. If you're still on revenge for 2002, well, then you got to look yourself in the mirror and see what's happened since then. Because that's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. It's like saying, I don't even know what it's like saying because it's just quite, it just dumb. That was 23 years ago. I get it. You want to say it's a bad call. Guess what? 23 years ago. Get over it. Life moves on. None of the players on either of these teams, or most of them, weren't alive when this game happened. Didn't watch the game. Don't know. They know about it, but they didn't see it happen live. They didn't watch it live. And again, your 2002 team ain't coming out on the field, and Ohio State's 2002 team ain't coming out on the field. It's your 2025 teams. So, yeah. Sorry. Let's move on to Oregon, Texas Tech. This can be a good game. ESPN's matchup predictor gives Texas Tech a 51.6% chance of winning and Oregon a 48.4% chance of winning. And the spread is 1.5 or 2.5, depending on where you look. I'm going to pick Oregon to win. I don't think Texas Tech's seen a team as good as Oregon. Now, Texas Tech's front seven is phenomenal. I mean, let's just look at their front seven real quick. So you have Jacob Rodriguez, of course. Then you have Ben Roberts, really good. Let's go find some of their D linemen. Let's go look at some of their games too, actually, while we're at it. So they haven't seen a team like Oregon. The two best teams they played was BYU twice and then Utah. They beat all three of those teams. The best quarterback they played, though, was Sam Leavitt at Arizona State, and they lost that one. But they were also using their backup quarterback, so no offense to Arizona State. But when you beat Texas Tech when they have their backup quarterback, it's not the same thing like beating them when they have Baron Morton. Their starting quarterback. So, also, Morton's finally 100% healthy. He's finally out of his boot. So that's good for Texas Tech. That gives them help. But again, at Texas Tech, you have Jacob Rodriguez. You have Jacob Rodriguez, who's phenomenal. You have John Curry. You got where is he? Ben Roberts, like I said before. You have A.J. Holmes Jr., who can get to the quarterback. You have David Bailey, who can get to the quarterback. I mean, David Bailey has 13.5 sacks on the season. You have a really good front seven. You got NFL players up front on both sides of the ball, but specifically on that defensive side of the ball. The question is, though, how will they play against the best team they've played all season? Because they haven't played a team as talented as Oregon, as good as Oregon. I'm going to pick Oregon to win, and if Oregon's favored by what, 2.5, 1.5 or 2.5, I'm going to pick Oregon to cover because I just don't see a team Oregon only winning by 1. I see them winning probably by 3. I think it's going to be a lower scoring, physical fight. The thing is, you can run the ball in Oregon. So if Texas Tech chooses to run the ball, they can run the ball in Oregon. Question is, will they? And how successful will they do that? We'll find out. Again, that game is on January 1st at 12 p.m. So we'll find out real quick on January 1st. But with Oregon, I mean, they've gotten healthier. Their wide receiver room has gotten healthier. Even if the Ducks advance, Evan Stewart will probably play in the next game. He's not going to play in this game, but they've still gotten healthy. You know what I mean? They've gotten healthier. Dante Moore's a phenomenal quarterback. He's a better quarterback in this matchup. But Texas Tech defense is really good. They're really good. They're really stout up front. It's a tough game to pick. Again, I'm going to pick Oregon to win, though. I'm going to go a score of 24-21. Oregon wins on a late game-winning field goal. That's going to be a really good game. That is going to be a phenomenal game at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Again, I just don't know if Texas Tech's going to be able to handle Oregon as being the best team that they've played. Be able to beat Oregon and being the best team they've played all season long for the first time. But I think Texas Tech's really good and they're trending in the right direction. I think they have the ability to be really good again next year. Now you have the Rose Bowl. Let's call it the Flood Bowl, basically, or the Rain Bowl, because it's going to be raining a lot in Pasadena. You got the Rose Bowl, the Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Indiana Hoosiers. You know, we're always told it doesn't rain in the Rose Bowl. It doesn't rain in Pasadena. Well, it is this year, and it's going to be raining a lot. But ESPN matchup review gives Indiana a 71.4% chance of winning and Alabama a 28.6% chance of winning. And Indiana is favored by 6.5 or 7, depending on where you look. I think Indiana's going to win, plain, clear it out. Now, Alabama's going to be a lot healthier in this game than they were against Georgia in the SEC Championship, and they even were against Oklahoma in the previous game. The question is, did Alabama just beat a flawed Oklahoma team? The Oklahoma team is really good. Defense is really good. Offense, they're very flawed. So the question is, did Alabama just beat a flawed Oklahoma team that struggles offensively? Or did they just beat a really good team handily after being down 17-0 and show us that they're back and that they're good and they're going to be good? Because the thing is, Alabama doesn't have a run game. So guess what? When you put them in a corner, they don't have to change their game plan. They can stick with the game plan that they've had of, we're just going to air the ball out. We're going to let Ty Simpson do his thing because that's their game plan going into the game. Their game plan is not to go in the game and get 200 rushing yards and then they're down by 17. Now they have to air the ball out all of a sudden. You know, their game plan is going, we're gonna run for a little bit, but we're going to throw for a lot. You get down by 17, hey, we're just going to throw for even more now than we were before. We're only, instead of doing 5 runs a drive, we might only do 2. You know, they don't need a run game. The problem is the rain. With it being really rainy in Pasadena, come this game, you gotta have to run the ball. It's gonna be harder to throw the ball and win through the air because that ball's gonna get slippery. It's gonna get wet. It might slip out of your quarterback's hands. It might slip through your receiver's hands. It will be a little bit harder to throw the ball. What's Indiana good at? Running the football. They have multiple games rushing for over 300 yards or 200 yards as a team, as a total. Indiana can run the football. They can do it well. While Alabama's got a decent defense, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Indiana's offense when it comes to the terms of running the football. Indiana can also throw the football. They have Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, who's fully healthy now. It's going to be harder for Alabama to win just trying to air it out in a game where it's going to be raining. Now, you also have Indiana having a really good front seven on defense. Now, I don't think Alabama's going to outmatch Indiana by talent-wise when it comes to NFL talent versus NFL talent, because Indiana's got NFL players on their roster. They're really good. The biggest key piece for Indiana, though, not the biggest key piece, the biggest missing key piece for Indiana, though, is Stephen DeLay. Stephen DeLay got injured celebrating the win against Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. He's a big key piece for them. He has 5.5 sacks. He didn't start starting for them until the back half of the season, but he's always in the backfield. He's always in the backfield getting tackles for loss, or maybe not tackles for loss, but getting disruption on the quarterback or disruption in the run game. He's always in the backfield making plays. Let's see, how many tackles for loss does he have on total this year? It won't tell me. He has 5.5 sacks, but I cannot find. It won't tell me his tackles for loss. So doesn't matter his tackles for loss then. Let's look at a game log. Let's look at one of his tackles for. Let's see. It won't tell me there either. So he's good at getting in the backfield. It doesn't matter. He's good at getting in the backfield. He's got 5.5 sacks. He's a big key piece missing for Indiana in their D tackle position up front. But they still have really good players around them and around him that can replace him also. They'll step up, and I just think Indiana's going to win this game. I think Indiana's going to cover that 6.5 or 7. No, because it's raining, we're not going to do that. I think Alabama's going to cover the 6.5 or 7, and it's going to be a 28-25 type game. Well, hold on, let's see. It's going to be... This is a tough game to pick. Let's go... Now, let's say 28-24. Indiana wins 28-24. They win by 4, 28-24. So Alabama covers. Indiana wins. Even if Alabama's healthy, I just don't know if they got the right key ways to... even if Alabama's healthy, I don't know if they have the right key ways to beat Indiana. But that's going to be a good game. Then you got Ole Miss, Georgia. So you have the Lane Kiffinless Rebels versus the still Kirby Smart full Georgia Bulldogs. Like I said, Georgia still got Kirby Smart. Ole Miss doesn't have Lane Kiffin. They got Pete Golden, but they still got Charlie Weiss. Ole Miss looked good against Tulane, but let's be real. They don't have their head coach, so I think Georgia's going to win this game. Now, Georgia won by 8 the last time they played, and it was at Georgia. And that was Trinidad Chambliss' first road start in the SEC. And so he could come back and play a lot. He played really good in that game. He could play even better in this game. He's gotten a lot better, and he could play a lot better in this game. Now it's on a neutral site. Problem is, I don't think that Ole Miss has a defense to stop Georgia offensively. And so it's just going to be offense. And Georgia's defense has gotten better since then. So all they need to do is not play perfect. They just need to get a couple stops here and there. You know, it's like you making those little like doing the egg drop thing when you're like in elementary school. You have to make it like a little contraption, drop it off a roof, and hope it doesn't break. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be cushioned enough to where the egg doesn't crack and break. It could be a fast, quick, hard, painful landing. No parachute. But if that thing didn't crack or break, they're pretty clean. They're going to win. So they just need to patch. They just need to patch the holes. They don't need to completely fix them. They just need to patch here and there. And they can win. I think Georgia's going to win. Again, ESPN's match predictor gives Georgia a 60.1% chance of winning. Ole Miss a 39.9% chance. Georgia's favored by 6.5. I think Georgia's going to cover the 6.5. I think they're going to win 28-21 against Ole Miss. If I just said Indiana, that's my bad. I think Georgia's going to beat Ole Miss. and move on to the Fiesta Bowl where they're going to face face Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. Again, Kirby Smart. He's a smart coach. It's in his name. I mean, he's smart, and he's Kirby Smart. It's in his name. He's a smart coach. He knows what he's doing. I trust him in these big games, and especially in this game. Yeah, that's going to be a tough game. Some more college football games you got coming up on Wednesday. Tomorrow, you also got Iowa versus Vanderbilt, Arizona State and Duke, Michigan, Texas, Nebraska, Utah. And so, yeah, speaking of Michigan for a second, Kyle Whittingham going to Michigan. I know we talked about in our last video, but hey, Kyle Whittingham is a good coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach, most likely. Well, definitely, probably a Hall of Fame coach. So the question is, can he win a national championship in Michigan? He's going to have the resources to do it. Can he do it? We'll find out. But, no, so I'm picking Ohio State. I'm picking Oregon. I am picking Indiana. And I am picking Georgia. Wow, who would have thought? I'm picking the four best, probably the four best, everyone would consider the four best teams to win in these games to win. Who would have thought that's how it would shake out? Oh, wait. That's usually how that shakes out. But you could see something crazy happen. I don't know. Someone could say, hey, I'm crashing your New Year's Eve party a little early. I don't know. Before we make our next video, though, Michigan State and Nebraska will be playing on Friday at 9 p.m., so that will either be right after I release my next video or before. So we're just going to talk about that game real quick. You have Nebraska, who's undefeated. Michigan State, who's 12-1. It will be at Nebraska. Nebraska has a 57.3% chance of winning, and Michigan State has a 42.7% chance of winning, according to ESPN's matchup predictor. I'm going to pick Michigan State. No offense to Nebraska. This will probably be the best team that Nebraska has played so far. I think Tom Izzo is a very good coach. His teams are very physical defensively, and if they show up offensively enough for Michigan State, they'll be good. But they don't have to show up offensively to win because they have stud defense, and they can stun teams' offenses with how good their defense is. And I think this will be just the most physical team Nebraska's played so far, and so I think they're going to lose to Michigan State. But again, Nebraska could surprise me. They could do some crazy things, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We're gonna have some interesting, fun bowl games, CFP games these next 2 days. I mean, hey, you got Miami and Ohio State kicking us off in Jerry's World. Besides being in Jerry's World, it doesn't sound too bad. And if you're a Cowboys fan, then you love being in Jerry's World, or you hate it because, well, the Cowboys' success recently has not been what you wanted. But as circa the last 20 years when it comes to winning Super Bowls. But, hey, what better way to kick us off than Ohio State versus Miami? A rivalry that Miami fans wish there was, and rivalry Ohio State fans tells you there is nothing there. Miami fans will say it's a rivalry. Ohio State fans will say, dog, it's just another game to us. We're going to find out who wins. One team's going to go home crying. One team's going to go home with a smile on their face and their trophy case a little bit heavier. Same with Oregon versus Texas Tech, Indiana versus Alabama, and Georgia versus Ole Miss. I hope you guys have a great New Year's. We're going to get, again, our next video won't be out till Friday after the CFP games happen, and we'll discuss those. We'll discuss some more college basketball that's coming up because, well, now that college football is coming to the end, soon college basketball will be rounding that corner and heading towards March sooner rather than later. That's Game Talk 24/7. Thank you guys for watching.